I was 43 years old when my husband told me he was still in love with his ex-girlfriend. My name is Anne, and that confession on a cold February evening in Chicago shattered everything I thought I knew about my marriage. We were sitting in our living room in our Lincoln Park townhouse, a place we had bought together 8 years earlier. The fireplace was crackling, creating what should have been a cozy atmosphere. Instead, the warmth felt suffocating. I had just asked Thomas a simple question about why he seemed so distant lately, why he had been on his phone so much, why he barely looked at me anymore. His answer was not what I expected. "I've been talking to Caroline again," he said quietly, staring at his hands. "She reached out a few months ago. We've been messaging." Caroline, his college girlfriend, the woman he had dated for 4 years before we met, the one he had almost married, according to his college friends. "Okay," I said slowly, my heart already beginning to race. "Why didn't you tell me?" Thomas finally looked up at me, and what I saw in his eyes made my blood run cold. It wasn't guilt exactly. It was longing, because I didn't know how to explain it. "Anne, I still have feelings for her. I think I always have." The room tilted. I gripped the armrest of my chair, trying to steady myself. "What are you saying, Thomas?" "I'm saying I don't think I ever completely got over her. When she left me back then, I was devastated. I met you a year later, and you were wonderful. You are wonderful. But talking to her again, I realized something was always missing. Each word felt like a physical blow. We had been married for 12 years. 12 years of building a life together, of supporting each other through career changes and family losses, of planning a future. "Do you want a divorce?" I asked, my voice surprisingly steady. Thomas looked shocked. "What? No, I needed to be honest with you. I'm confused. I don't know what I want, but you know you still love her." He didn't deny it. That silence was answer enough. I stood up, my legs shaky. "I'm going to bed. We'll talk more tomorrow." I didn't sleep that night. I lay in our bed, staring at the ceiling, while Thomas stayed downstairs. My mind raced through our entire relationship, looking for signs I had missed. Had he always felt this way? Had I been a consolation prize? A backup plan? We had met at a mutual friend's dinner party in downtown Chicago. Thomas was a financial analyst, and I worked as a human resources manager for a marketing firm. He had been charming, funny, attentive. Our courtship had been romantic. He proposed after 18 months, and we married 6 months later in a small ceremony in Michigan, where my parents lived. We didn't have children. It was something we had discussed, but never quite committed to. Thomas always said he wanted to wait until we were more financially stable, until his career was more established. Now I wondered if part of him had been holding back, keeping some piece of himself separate from our marriage. The next morning, Thomas tried to act normal, making coffee and asking if I wanted breakfast. I couldn't eat. I sat at our kitchen table and asked the questions that had kept me awake all night. "How long have you been talking to Caroline?" "About 3 months. Have you seen her in person?" "Once. She was in Chicago for work. We had coffee." "Just coffee?" "Yes, Anne. Just coffee. I haven't cheated on you, if that's what you're asking." "But you want to." He didn't answer, which was answer enough. "I need time to think," I said. "I'm going to stay with my friend Rebecca for a few days." Thomas looked panicked. "Anne, please don't go. We need to work through this. You need to figure out what you want, and I need space to figure out what I'm willing to accept." I packed a bag and drove to Rebecca's apartment in Wicker Park. Rebecca had been my best friend since we met at work 7 years ago. When I showed up at her door, tears streaming down my face, she pulled me inside without a word and held me while I sobbed. Over the next few days, I told her everything. Rebecca listened, her face growing increasingly angry on my behalf. "Anne, you deserve so much better than this. He's been emotionally cheating on you for months, and now he wants you to just accept that he's in love with someone else? That's not how marriage works." He said he's confused. Maybe it's just a phase. Maybe if I give him time. Give him time to what? To decide if you're worth choosing. You are worth more than being someone's backup option. Rebecca's words hit hard because they were true. I had spent 3 days making excuses for Thomas, trying to understand his perspective, wondering what I could do to win him back. But the truth was, I shouldn't have to win my own husband's love. It should have been mine already. I called my mother in Grand Rapids. She and my father had been married for 45 years, and I trusted her judgment. "Mom, Thomas told me he's still in love with his ex-girlfriend. I don't know what to do." There was a long pause. Then my mother said something I'll never forget. "Anne, sweetheart, you can't make someone love you the way you deserve to be loved. You can only decide what you're willing to accept, and if you accept this, you'll spend the rest of your marriage wondering if you're enough. That's no way to live." She was right. I knew she was right. But knowing it and accepting it were two different things. I went back home after 5 days. Thomas was eager to talk, to explain, to somehow make this okay. We sat down, and he told me that he had stopped talking to Caroline, that he wanted to focus on our marriage, that he would go to counseling. "I love you, Anne. I really do. I just got caught up in old feelings. But you're my wife. You're my present and my future." I wanted to believe him. I wanted so badly for things to go back to normal. But something had shifted inside me. When I looked at my husband, I no longer saw the man I had trusted completely. I saw someone who had been fantasizing about a life with someone else while lying next to me every night. "I need you to be completely honest with me," I said. "If Caroline called you tomorrow and said she wanted to be with you, what would you do?" Thomas hesitated. It was only for a second, but I saw it. The flicker of uncertainty, of longing, of possibility. "I would say no," he said finally. "I would choose you." But that hesitation told me everything. He would choose me, yes. But not because I was what he truly wanted, because I was there, because I was safe, because I was the easier choice. "I think we should separate," I said quietly. Thomas's face fell. "Anne, no, please, I can fix this. I'll do anything. I need time to think about what I want. I've spent the last week thinking about you, about us, about how to save this marriage, but I haven't thought about what I actually want, what makes me happy. Whether I want to stay in a marriage where I'll always wonder if I'm enough." We agreed that Thomas would move out temporarily into a corporate apartment his company maintained for visiting executives. He packed his things that afternoon, and when the door closed behind him, I sat in our empty townhouse and cried. But underneath the grief, there was something else, something I hadn't expected: relief. The next few weeks were difficult. I went through the motions at work, came home to an empty house, and spent most evenings with Rebecca or on the phone with my mother. Friends reached out, some taking my side, some trying to stay neutral, some suggesting I give Thomas another chance. My boss, Karen, noticed I was struggling. She called me into her office one afternoon. "Anne, I don't want to pry, but you haven't seemed like yourself lately. Is everything okay?" I appreciated Karen's directness. We had a good working relationship, and she had always been fair with me. "I'm going through a separation. It's been difficult. I'm sorry to hear that. Listen, I know this might not be the best timing, but I want you to consider something. We're opening a new office in Denver, and we need someone to head up the HR department there. It would be a promotion, a significant salary increase, and a fresh start if you need one. I'd understand if you want to stay here, but I wanted to offer it to you. Denver, a new city, a new job, a chance to start over. Can I think about it?" I asked. "Of course. Take your time." That night, I sat on my couch and made a list of pros and cons. Staying in Chicago meant keeping my friends, staying close to Thomas if we tried to work things out, maintaining the life I knew. Moving to Denver meant adventure, growth, distance from painful memories, and a chance to rediscover who I was outside of my marriage. The more I thought about it, the more appealing Denver sounded. Thomas and I met for dinner a week later. He looked tired, thinner than usual. He told me he had been thinking constantly about us, about our marriage, about how to fix what he had broken. "I made a terrible mistake, Anne. I should never have told you about Caroline. I should have dealt with those feelings on my own and protected what we have." "You shouldn't have had those feelings at all," I said, "and I'm glad you told me. I deserve to know the truth about my own marriage." "So what now? Do we just give up? Throw away 12 years? I've been offered a job in Denver, head of HR for our new office there. I'm thinking about taking it." Thomas stared at me. "You're leaving Chicago?" "I'm leaving us. Or at least, I'm leaving this version of us. I can't stay in this marriage wondering if I'm your second choice. I can't live my life trying to compete with a memory." "You're not competing with anyone. I choose you." "But do you? Or do you choose me because Caroline isn't available? Because I'm here and she's not? That's not enough for me, Thomas. I deserve to be someone's first choice. I deserve to be loved completely, without reservation, without comparison." He tried to argue, to convince me to stay, to give him another chance. But I had made my decision. I accepted the Denver position the next day. The following months were a whirlwind of paperwork, packing, and goodbyes. Rebecca was supportive, but sad to see me go. My parents were proud of me for choosing myself. Thomas went through stages of anger, sadness, and acceptance. We filed for divorce, and it was finalized just before I moved. I arrived in Denver in early September, driving across the country with my belongings packed in a moving truck. The city was beautiful, surrounded by mountains, with clear blue skies and a vibrant downtown. I found an apartment in the Capitol Hill neighborhood, a one-bedroom with exposed brick and large windows that let in incredible natural light. Starting over at 43 was both terrifying and exhilarating. I threw myself into my new job, building the HR department from scratch, hiring a team, implementing new systems. Karen had been right about it being a promotion. I had more responsibility, more autonomy, and more money than I had ever had before. I also focused on myself in ways I never had during my marriage. I joined a hiking group and spent weekends exploring Rocky Mountain trails. I took a painting class at a local art studio. I went to concerts and restaurants alone, learning to enjoy my own company. I made new friends through work and through my various activities. My therapist in Denver, Dr. Patricia Holmes, helped me process the end of my marriage and understand my own patterns. She pointed out that I had spent most of my adult life defining myself through my relationships, through being a good wife, a good employee, a good friend. Who is Anne when she's not performing a role for someone else? Dr. Holmes asked during one session. It was a question I couldn't immediately answer, but I was determined to find out. One Saturday afternoon, about 6 months after moving to Denver, I was hiking alone on a trail near Golden when I stopped at a viewpoint overlooking the city. The mountains stretched endlessly in every direction, and I felt simultaneously small and infinite. I thought about Thomas, about our marriage, about the pain of the past year, and I realized something profound. I wasn't angry anymore. I wasn't even sad. I was grateful. Grateful that Thomas had been honest, even if it hurt. Grateful that I had found the strength to leave. Grateful for this new life I was building. I had spent so long trying to be enough for someone else that I had forgotten to be enough for myself. Work continued to go well. I received positive feedback from the corporate office, and my team in Denver was thriving. I was promoted to regional director after 18 months, overseeing HR for our offices in Denver, Salt Lake City, and Phoenix. I dated occasionally, nothing serious. A few dinners, some good conversations, but I wasn't in a hurry to jump into another relationship. I was enjoying the process of getting to know myself, of building a life that was entirely mine. I stayed in touch with Rebecca, who visited me twice in that first year. My parents came for Christmas, and I spent a week with them in Michigan in the summer. Thomas and I had no contact beyond what was necessary to finalize the divorce and split our assets. I heard through mutual friends that he was dating someone new, not Caroline, but someone he had met through work. 3 years after I moved to Denver, I received an unexpected message on a Thursday evening. I was at home, reading a book on my couch, when my phone buzzed with a text from an unknown number. "Hi Anne, this is Thomas. I hope you're well. I've been thinking about you a lot lately. Would you be open to talking? I'd like to explain some things, and I'd like to hear about your life. I could fly to Denver if you're willing to meet." I stared at the message for a long time. My first instinct was to delete it, to maintain the clean break I had made. But curiosity got the better of me. "What could he possibly want to say after all this time?" I texted back. "I'm willing to meet. There's a coffee shop called Thump Coffee on 20th Avenue. Sunday at 2 p.m. works for me," he responded immediately. "I'll be there, thank you." Sunday came, and I arrived at the coffee shop 15 minutes early. I ordered a latte and sat at a table by the window, watching people walk by. When Thomas walked in, I barely recognized him. He had lost more weight, his hair was graying at the temples, and he looked older than his 48 years. He saw me and smiled tentatively. I didn't smile back, but I gestured to the seat across from me. He ordered coffee and joined me. "You look amazing," he said. "Denver suits you. Thank you." "What did you want to talk about?" He took a deep breath. "I wanted to apologize. Really apologize. Not the half-hearted attempts I made before. What I did to you was wrong. The way I handled my feelings for Caroline, the way I made you feel like you weren't enough, the way I took you for granted. You deserved so much better." "Okay," I said neutrally. "I also wanted you to know that I understand now what I lost. After you left, I tried to find what I thought I was looking for. I dated other people. I even reached out to Caroline again, and we tried to make something work, but it was all wrong. None of it felt right. And? I prompted, unsure where this was going. And I realized that what I had with you was real. It was good. I was the problem, not the relationship. I was chasing some idealized memory instead of appreciating the incredible woman right in front of me. I took a sip of my coffee, processing his words. Why are you telling me this? Because I've grown a lot in the past 3 years. I've been in therapy. I've done a lot of work on myself, and I keep coming back to the same conclusion. I made the biggest mistake of my life when I let you go. Anne, I'm asking if there's any possibility of starting over. Not picking up where we left off, but truly starting fresh, getting to know each other again, dating, taking it slow. I looked at Thomas, this man I had once loved so completely, who had broken my heart so thoroughly. I thought about the Anne who had packed her bags 3 years ago, devastated and lost. And I thought about the Anne sitting here now, confident and whole. Thomas, I appreciate the apology. I really do. And I'm glad you've been working on yourself. But my answer is no. His face fell. Can I ask why? Because I'm not the same person I was when we were married. These past 3 years, I've built a life I love. I've discovered who I am outside of being someone's wife. I've learned to prioritize my own happiness. And I've realized that I don't want to go back to who I was, even with a different version of you. I understand, he said quietly. I was afraid that would be your answer, but I had to try. You deserve to be happy, Anne. I hope you are. I am, I said honestly. I really, truly am. We talked for another 30 minutes, filling each other in on our lives, our work, our families. It was cordial, even pleasant, but there was no spark, no longing, no desire to revisit what we once had. When we said goodbye outside the coffee shop, I hugged him briefly and wished him well. Walking back to my apartment, I felt an incredible sense of peace. Seeing Thomas again had confirmed what I already knew. I had made the right choice. Leaving had been the best decision of my life. That evening, I called Rebecca and told her about the meeting. And you said no? She asked, without hesitation. I'm so proud of you, Anne. Do you remember how devastated you were when you first came to my apartment? Look at you now. I know. It feels like a different lifetime. Because it is. You're living a different life now, a better one. She was right. My life in Denver was fuller, richer, and more authentic than my life in Chicago had ever been. I had friends who valued me, work that fulfilled me, and most importantly, I had myself. I had learned to love my own company, to trust my own judgment, to build a life that made me happy without needing someone else to complete it. A few months after Thomas's visit, I met someone. His name was James, and he was a landscape architect who had moved to Denver from Seattle. We met at a dinner party hosted by a colleague, and we started talking about hiking trails. He asked me to join him on a hike the following weekend, and I agreed. It developed slowly, naturally. No rush, no pressure. Just two people enjoying each other's company and seeing where it might lead. After 6 months of dating, I knew this was different from what I had with Thomas. James saw me, really saw me, and loved what he saw. There was no hesitation, no comparison, no wondering if I was enough. One evening, about a year into our relationship, James and I were cooking dinner in my apartment. He was chopping vegetables while I stirred a pot on the stove, and he said something that made me stop. You know what I love about you. You're so complete on your own. You don't need me to make you happy. You just let me be part of your happiness. I kissed him, overwhelmed with gratitude for this man who understood that being chosen freely is so much more valuable than being needed desperately. Looking back now, 5 years after leaving Chicago, I can see the whole journey clearly. Thomas's confession that he still loved Caroline had felt like the end of my world, but it had actually been the beginning of my real life. It had forced me to choose myself, to value myself, to build a life based on what I wanted rather than what someone else needed from me. I learned that love isn't about being someone's only option or their best option. It's about being chosen actively, every day, by someone who sees you completely and loves you anyway. And more importantly, I learned that the most crucial love story isn't the one you have with someone else. It's the one you have with yourself. When Thomas asked if we could start over, he was asking me to step back into a story I had already finished. But I was already living a new story, one where I was the protagonist, not the supporting character in someone else's narrative. I still think about that February evening sometimes, when Thomas told me he still loved Caroline. I used to remember it with pain. Now I remember it with gratitude. It was the moment I started choosing myself, and that choice changed everything.